Dan, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. McCready?
Yes.
Ms. Cool?
Yeah, here.
Mr. Brown?
Present.
Ms. Tuck?
Here.
Mr. Huffman?
Here.
Mr. Reynolds? Mr. Rexroad?
Here.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Borkowski?
Here. All right, we have a quorum. Because we didn't resolve in the committee of the whole, this starts out as a special council meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion to resolve in the committee of the whole, please.
Second.
President.
We got a motion and a second. The vote, please, Dan.
Mr. McCready?
Yes.
Ms. Cool?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Tuck?
Yes.
Mr. Huffman?
Yes.
Mr. Rexroad?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski?
Yes, so we are in, committee of the whole. Most of you have probably seen an email from me, kinda outlining, informal meeting tonight, planning and priorities discussion for the upcoming budget. Kinda touched on 6 key initiatives, and just before we get started, wanted to, kinda lay some groundwork and kinda focus on big pictures items, what we feel are the biggest needs for our community, citywide issues, and not necessarily individual projects or district specific. You know, at the end, if we have some district specific or individual projects, but these are kind of, you know, county, citywide initiatives, help the community as a whole. And then, you know, anything that's specific details, you know, it can be followed up, once the priorities are identified. And, these ideas, doesn't matter how big or small, we're here to hear them. So, anybody wants to kick it off, have at it.
I'll go first.
Ms. Cool?
I'm just gonna go down the list that you sent out. Adam always gives us every year what he's doing for the street resurfacing, so I'm gonna skip over that, cause I'm not familiar unless the mayor has some.
I can tell you Adam's been working on it, but make no mistake, with these sub-freezing temperatures, that list will change.
Right.
There'll be streets open up. I mean, unfortunately, that's just the nature of freeze thaw.
Okay, the next thing I like to touch on is public safety. The one thing that I get complaints about, whether I go to Walmart, Kroger's, Little Caesar's Pizza, you know, in Southside, is the people parking in the fire lanes. And it is a major problem throughout the city at any entity that has a fire lane. For those who, which was only Dave, I think, was on council my first 4 years, I had spoke to Chief Matthews about it, and I wanted to know who writes the tickets. Well, the fire department can write the tickets, or the police department can write the tickets. I said, well, why aren't they writing them? You know, couldn't get an answer. So at that time, one had been written. All right, so it's 10 years later. 2 have been written. So I started doing some research, and I found this remarkable place. It's called NPS Solar Safety Stick. I'm gonna pass these out to everyone, including the mayor. I don't know how many I need.
Maybe 8, 9.
I'll give one to Andrew.
One more? Sir?
And I called them. And I wanted to know what this solar safety stick was about and how it was implemented, cost, and all that. Number one, it costs the city nothing to have these put in. These are solar sticks, and they are put where, no parking, fire lanes. And this little thing that you see here is a reader, and it reads the license plates of people that park there. And this information goes back, NPS monitors it, They keep track of it for us. Doesn't cost us a dime up front, not one dime. They install them, they maintain them. If someone hits them, they replace them. If there's any destruction whatsoever, we don't have to worry about it. The maintenance is all taken care of. What I was so impressed with this, they install everything for free, they do a recording. Once they record these, the city, meaning the police department or the fire department, would determine, I want the fire, only want the people that are parked there more than 30 seconds or 90 seconds. They very seldom go over 90 seconds, okay? And then they would send, after they got all their information, they would send that to the entity, which would be the police department or the fire department, whichever one's going to do this. And once they verified that these vehicles were parked in the fire lane, and they gave them a yes on it, then they could write the tickets, then they notify MPS, we're going to write tickets, blah, blah, blah. They can mail the tickets. The good thing about it is, even though we do have an ordinance about parking in fire lanes, the state also has one. You can be fined $100 to $500. If it's written through magistrate's court, there's jail time. But you can give them that, okay, here's 100, next time, they would be keeping track of who are the continuous violators of this. They would come, they would go with the chief of police, they would sit down with the fire department, to get all this set up. Once we determine that yes, these are valid tickets, and that is determined by us to write, if we, at that point in time, if we decide, and this is the contract, they would decide. If we decide that, okay, we're gonna pay you as soon as we determine these are tickets to be written. And it's 40% of the cost of the ticket. That's what we would owe them, is 40%. That's before we collect the money. If we determine, if the entities of B, which would be the chief and the fire, if they determine, no, we wanna wait until we collect the monies for these tickets, and then we'll notify you, then we would pay 50% of the ticket. Okay, for every $100, it's $50 to us and $50 to them. Then you got repeat offenders. The good thing is, the repeat offenders can be, our police department can dismiss that ticket and write it through magistrate court, which has a higher fine and also jail time. I do not know how many times I have been down to Kroger's or to Little Caesars, and there's 5 or 6 cars or Walmart parked in that zone. I know the fire department parks in that zone when they go to Kroger's to get something to eat, okay? But I think this is a great idea. It doesn't cost us anything except for the time to write the tickets and keep the log of, we determine if we are going to write the ticket or not. That's what we pay. I just think this is really something that we need to look into. It is a problem. And it can be in front of a fire hydrant, it can be, anywhere in the city that it's illegal to park. So, that's one thing I would like to see initiative do. Like I said, it doesn't cost us a dime until we write the ticket.
Any idea, like, if you put one of these in down at Kroger's, if we're talking down there like that, you have to have Kroger's permission to install that, put that in our concrete areas or whatever?
Yes, and I have asked Kroger's, what would you think of this idea? Oh my gosh, they welcome it. It would not be any problem getting Walmart or Kroger's, or really, you would need the owner of the lot, okay, to do that. I don't think there would be any, it's a problem. I mean, so I don't think it'd be, yes, we would have to get permission. On city streets, we don't have to.
Okay.
You know, for the fire hydrants, loading zones, you know, where they park illegally, we had that problem before. Anything that the city owns, it's not gonna be a problem. Now, we can decide where we wanna put these at as a trial basis. And I would suggest we start with the city, okay? And we see how well it goes. But how often do you get something that helps our police department and our city for free until we write the ticket?
Is there a limit on how many they'll give us, or?
Nope. However many we need, they will come. They are out of Boston, Massachusetts. And this gentleman, Robert Matthews, he was just great to talk to. They have, agents in Virginia and Kentucky. And so we fall within that area. They would come up. I have videos that he sent me about this. They would come up and sit down and talk with the mayor and, you know, the fire chief and the chief of police to get this instituted. It does not take long to get it instituted. We could start out small, you know, and then they'll do our whole city. And it doesn't cost us a dime until we do the tickets, okay? And then we decide, are we gonna pay them before we get the money for the tickets, or are we gonna pay them after we get the money for the tickets? And there's a 10% difference.
I'm curious what everyone thinks about that. I don't know about, how much tickets are paid or whatever. Probably you're better off to just pay the higher amount, right? Rather than having, otherwise you have to front it. And we may
I would
never
say
get the money back.
50% till we get the money in, you know? That way it's not coming out of our budget, it's not coming, we don't have to allocate any money for it, except as far as police officer, who's gonna be writing the tickets, you know, designate someone or a fireman.
And it's legal for a private company to take 50% of a fine that the
It is,
municipality
and he's
collects?
sending all that information. Yes. So, just something I wanted to put out there, cause I was,
I think it's a good idea, Sheriff. I really do. I like
I
it.
thought
I
this-
like it, I like it a lot.
I thought this was really great. You know, and they'll come, they'll do the seminar, you know, of course they won't have to do it to council, because council really doesn't have anything to do with this. You know, we don't have to allocate any money. It would be between the mayor and the chief of police and the fire chief and parking. Okay, that's who it would be.
I don't think that it would help document repeat offenders too.
I'm
It
sorry?
would document the repeat offenders.
Yes. And see, once you're a repeat offender, that fine goes up.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. If they don't pay the ticket to us, the police officer can go and Dan can say, hey, they didn't pay this ticket. The police officer can come and convert that to a warrant. And then it goes to magistrate court. And we still get money from magistrate court on it. Just a way to help out our city. That's number one. You guys have any more questions?
I think it's cool.
Okay. Parks and Recreation, I'm gonna leave that because for Southwood, there's some things I would like to see for Southwood. We're having meetings on it, you know, Ryan's having meetings. The one tonight was canceled, it's scheduled for tomorrow night, and then there's two more, one's in South Side and two is in North End. Mayor has came up with we have talked, and, I've got pictures from Ryan, what we like to do at Southwood. It will be, Mayor, that'll be put before council whenever we do that, right? I didn't wanna go into it.
Well, I think, council, of course, has to do any appropriation. I think not that there's anything of great consequence here, so, what Ryan is planning, and like I said, Sharon's accurate, he canceled one today, he was not happy about it, he's Canadian, he doesn't like canceling things for snow. He was born and raised in Ontario, he just can't believe that, but anyway, so he's got, I think, 3 listening tours done, and he's got some potential projects identified, that he's just gonna kinda, I think, get some feedback from the public, not unlike, you know, that's how we ended up with a splash pad at City Park. So I think that specifically, he's got some, concepts. One is, putt-putt, we're kind of bring your own putt-putt, or bring your own, ball and club, and, a bicycle pump track. And is there another one? I can't remember. I know that, Adam helped him kind of source
I
some
don't have
things
the
out. but-
pictures with me, but.
We got a zip line in that?
Not a true zip line. At one point, they talked about some of those, kind of like little kid zip lines, and I don't think our insurance provider would be too crazy about a true zip line.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I bet you do.
You gotta be the first one to
Yeah,
go,
you'd be the
Roger.
first one to
Oh,
go.
yeah, I would.
Right.
I went down the
But-
waterfall.
But there is some, there are some, playground equipment that has kind of a zip line, I mean, but I encourage you to just go and kind of look at some of the things that
What is it?
Ryan and engineering have sourced as potential, if nothing else, concepts to think about, you know, trying to not reinvent the wheel, but at the same time also not duplicate features that, you know, might exist 10 minutes across town, or, you know, even if it, but, you know, so.
Dave, you'd get down that zip line with you.
You been over Hocking Hills down that zip line?
I was down Myrtle Beach on their zip line.
Oh, yeah, everybody does Myrtle Beach, but Hocking Hills has got a great one.
Did it?
Yeah, they do.
I'll
They
go
do.
over and see that one.
It's all ages. yeah.
Real quick though, Sharon, you got some other stuff, right?
Yeah, I got a couple more things, just 2 things. The community development URA is going to, I will outline that in our meeting tomorrow night. We are gonna play a big part of the community development. Ryan will be there, Zach, we've had meetings on this, just wanna outline what URA would like to do this year. Hopefully everyone's on board with, I think you will be on board with it. No decisions was made. These were ideas that we came up with, and, I'm really excited about that this year. So I'm not gonna touch on community development. Stormwater, I'm gonna let the mayor and Adam handle that as they do every year. They do a great job, until we get, some type of feedback and they need us. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Now, employees' cost of living. This is what I would like to see this year. I would like to bring, I don't want to see across the board pay increase. I would like to bring our employees that make less than $15 an hour up to $15 an hour. That is, we've got 20 that I know of, okay? I'm just throwing this out there so the mayor can hear this, and I don't have figures, by the way. I do not have figures. I think we bring them up to the $15 an hour, because personally I've been hearing a lot about $15 an hour in the state of West Virginia, you know, and eventually we may have to do this, but why can't we be the first to do that? Number one. Number two, I know that when you bring them up to the $15 an hour, you're also gonna have to do adjustments in other departments because of the amount we're bringing them up. So once those adjustments are done to everyone that is adjusted, I think this year should be the year we've been really great to our employees. We really have. This administration has done a fantastic job in bringing them up. Really, really good job, and they've deserved it, and I wish we could have done more. But I think this could be the year that we line it out, okay? We don't have any employees under $15 an hour. We, like I said, because there's an adjustment there, other employees are gonna have to, they're gonna have to adjust it to that. I love our department heads. I think every department head does a great job. I mean, don't know what we do without them. I don't know where Tom Joyce, our mayor, found these department heads, but wherever he found them, I hope he never loses them, because they have been absolutely phenomenal. And this kills me to say this, so I'm just gonna say it. I am not recommending the department heads get pay raises this year. Not a percentage. Let's get the employees up to where they need to be. Let's get we don't have anyone under $15 an hour. Let's build them up. Maybe by doing that, we also build up our, employee base. So, that being said, you guys can think about it. I just told the mayor knew nothing about this until just right now, so I hope he's okay with the way I did this. I just think that it's time. It's time. And if we don't do it, this is Mayor Joyce's the last 3 years, and probably the last 3 years for some of the city council people who are choosing not to run again. But if we don't do it, then it's not gonna get done. We know, we've been here since day one. Me, Chris has been here for the last 4 years. Dave was on the first one, okay? Wendy's been here for 5 years, okay? If we do not get this done, I don't think it's gonna get done after this administration is done. And I think that we need to make an impact. We need to let our city employees know, number one, how much we care about them. And that's just something that I feel that.
You know what the lowest rate,
I'm sorry.
what is the lowest rate employee?
The lowest rate on employees right now is $11 and some odd cents, and it's in parking. And that person, just got a increase, okay, because he just passed his probationary period. I don't know exactly how much it is, but I do know it's $11 and something. And he just passed his probationary period, so it was brought up a little bit. But our lowest rate is I want to say 1141. I don't have that. I was going to have a personnel committee meeting on this later, but since our goals,
And so, just to summarize the employee cost of living, talking about bringing up to $15, and maybe possibly, you would recommend no department heads, anything else on employee cost of living?
just when we do bring them up 15, we're gonna have to bring some of the employees up also with that amount. So let's see what that costs, and then go from there as far as what we can do, if you wanna do a 1% or 2%, okay? But I am, like I said, love the department heads. I am not behind the department heads getting a raise this year. And I'm done.
All right, thank you, Ms. Cool.
That's a $6,000 pay raise. To $8,000, $11, $4 on the hour. There's 2,080 hours. So you're looking at $4 times 2,080. Okay? That's a year's salary. And that's what you're giving the man a raise for.
Yeah, even if it's $12, you know, $12, you know, you're 33%.
Yep, you're paying $3,600.
Like I said, it's
I mean-
already
Just-
being talked.
Just to bring this back together, let's talk general terms.
Right.
Let's not get down in the weeds and dollar figures, cause we could be here until midnight if we just continue to
Right.
go back and forth. So, just moving forward, just give everybody enough time and to be fair to everybody, let's get some more, general ideas and we can have some discussion on it, but if we get down in the weeds, we're gonna be here quite some time.
Right,
so.
I just put it out there.
Perfect.
I didn't
Who
have.
wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Mr. Rexroad.
Just have a couple. First one kind of echoes you. I think we need to bring some pays up. I didn't have any concrete numbers, but I agree with you there. It's something that we should have done way before this. So there's that one on the employee cost of living. Public safety wise, I think I remember us talking about this at one of these several years ago, last term, about the police force having body cams. That's been brought up to me multiple times over the last several years. My own daughter is in college right now, is a criminal justice major, and talking to her professors, they were surprised that a city of our size didn't have body cams. And actually they cautioned against her joining our police force without body cams, because it doesn't just protect the citizens, it protects our guys and girls as well. Did we not have grants lined up for that several years ago?
I've never seen a grant that was awarded. There's always grants.
Yeah,
that
I
come
know they're
through.
available. I can't remember if we ever looked at that or not.
I know the problem that I have always heard from Chief Board as far as body cams is the recordings. They have to store all that. They don't have the room. They are out of room up at PD. They've been out of room, I know, since my husband was on the police department, okay? So they're out of room, and unless they can find, and it takes you're talking about evidence.
Right.
Okay, so unless they could find a place, okay, to store these, cause you have to keep them for so many years.
I mean,
I'm
I'm
not
assuming
against
it's
body
just
cams.
stored on a hard drive.
We can hash out details.
Right.
Let's let Chris have the floor and discuss body cams and stuff, and let's try not to get too far down the details, because like I said, we can continue and go on and on.
Well, and I don't really have much details other than I think that's something we need to look at, and, I know that there's grants available out there to help us with that, because they will be pricey. There's no getting around that.
If not that, at least car cams.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's that, and then really the only other thing I had, I'm kind of stretching here with community development, more community outreach, and, I think it's time that we brought public forum back to something. I mean, if we don't put it exactly back, I know I've talked to a lot of you guys about it. I think we need to restore, public forum to where we're not limited to just hearing what's on the agenda. I think we need to give people a chance to talk. We might not like what they have to say, but I think that's very important, and I think that we've taken a lot of fire of that since that was changed. I mean, that, we limited, after, we did that, we got rid of council forums, so, somebody in my district can't even come to me and say, hey, I wanna talk about this, can you say something? So I think we need to bring that back, and just deal with it, it's what we're elected to do. That's all I've got.
Okay, who's up next?
I can go next.
Go ahead, Zach. Mr. Hopkins, sorry.
Zach's perfectly fine. $15 minimum wage, fully support. Would love to see the body cams. Would love to see the public forum changed. And then the only other thing that I've heard directly from, like you said, later we might talk about individual needs, but District 5 has some park needs too. Quincy's getting pretty rough. Friendship Park, I'm not even sure what to do with that beside of Savage Apartments. I mean, the stories that I'm hearing, Chief Board has been monitoring it a lot more, but I mean, they're all saying that there's prostitution there all the time and everything else. So at this point, I don't know what to do with Friendship Park, how much kids are using it. Quincy, I would like to know, from the Parks Department, is it just general maintenance that would take very little to, or is it gonna be all new equipment if we were to update that equipment and get it functional? People are saying it's hurting the kids, I've heard that from a couple of
The
people.
problem with Quincy Park is every time we fix something, somebody goes in there and tears it up. The bathroom's been closed up there for probably 6 years, because every time someone goes in and busts the toilet, the sinks, I mean, you guys all own your own property, not everyone's a plumber. But, I mean, it's thousands of dollars every time it gets, so now, as far as the equipment and stuff, I mean, I know that, I've not seen anything come across my desk, anybody's got hurt, but the problem with the 2 parks that you outline is all of our public spaces get some modicum level of abuse. And the reality of it is, those 2 parks in particular get absolutely, positively a factor of 10. And that sucks, I get it.
Yeah.
But I made a conscious decision, you can blame it on me. Everett came to me after about the 3rd time, the bathrooms and stuff, and I told him, I said, don't repair them. I mean, at one point, we caught a guy, and he went unpunished for whatever reason, I don't know, but, probably got alternative sentencing. But those, I mean, we can look at the playground equipment and stuff like that, but the reality of it is, those 2 parks get the absolute crap beat out of them by folks that, I mean, all our parks get something, but those two, I mean, the only one that was worse was, quite frankly, Corning, and we ended up demolishing that restroom down there, because it was just, you just can't keep it, so.
I don't know the solution there exactly, but I know the kids deserve a place to play, but obviously all of that, I know that to be extremely,
But you
I-
need
I-
a
very
place, a
hard.
safe place to
Yeah.
play.
They need a safe place to play, you're right.
And like I said, we were up there in the summer, and, I mean, there was some walking surfaces that were repaired on the playground, but, I've not heard of any injury, quite frankly.
That's about it for me.
You know, on that one down by the apartments, when I was on council the first time, our biggest issue when I was on council was needles.
Yeah.
I mean, the drugs were bad in that place,
Yeah.
right in there, and that was the biggest issue we had.
Well, the only other thing I'll say is that there's a URA lot right there close to Savage Apartments. I'm very fixated on that URA lot. I love that area of town right there. And, I would just like to see that whole area, what can be done with it, all the way from the URA lot to Friendship, Savage in between, all of it. So, that's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Huffman. Anybody else wanna jump in?
Yeah, how about me just?
Go ahead, Mr. McCready.
Real quick, I've got one that I'd really like to talk about, and that is our holiday in the park, city park. We really we gotta do something with that, we really do, and, I think our, council president kind of appointed a guy that, might have some ideas toward that. I'm looking for some big sponsors, I really am. And, I sent a lot of you guys a tree, a picture of that musical tree or whatever. I run across that down Gallipolis High, if any of you ever been down there. It's a 2-block, square block, and there must be 10 million bulbs in that thing. I've never seen it like that in a lot. And one of these trees is sort of highlight part of that, whatever, and it's beautiful, it really is. And I'd like to change our park into like, just real quick, instead of driving around and seeing these old wooden things that we've got over there.
They're not wood, they're metal.
Oh, are they?
Oh, yeah,
The frames.
the frames are metal,
Oh,
they're
okay,
heavy.
yeah, well, frames, there's some, okay.
Trust me,
Whatever they are.
they're not fun.
I think the 12 days of Christmas was a 5 days of Christmas this year with this stuff or whatever. Anyhow, we just need to update the whole thing. And with our new building in the park, whatever, I'd like to see this whole idea of, hey, let's walk through the park instead of drive around it. Hey, let's walk through, let's have some coffee, vendors and stuff like this. And, welcome people into the park, just something like this. That's what I'm looking at. And, you got any ideas or wanna jump on board, I'd be glad to have you help it out a little bit, because we do need some people. Thank you, Rob, I know you.
You gonna present that to the Holiday in the Park? We haven't heard anything about the Holiday in the Park for a long time. Only thing I know is when they put their lights up, the bulbs are still out.
Yeah,
They're not lit up.
I have no idea.
And I don't know
I
why.
heard they disbanded, I don't know. I'd like to, I don't even know who to contact.
I can get you that info, I have it.
Pardon me?
I can get you that info, I have
Okay.
that. I just found out a couple days ago.
And I think you're right with sponsorship, it's gonna take dollars and
It's
Well,
sponsorship.
Gallup Listens cost 800,000.
Well, I mean, when it first started, that's how it was,
That's
you'd
right.
have a display and it's sponsored by this business or this family and maybe we can get together some way to volunteers to come help change bulbs and do stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanna bring it in closer instead of having to drive around and stuff, just
Mary,
make something.
you got
I
something?
just, to Mr. Rexford's point, so you're right, it was done by sponsors, but the sponsors also did
They
the
did the
work.
work too, yeah.
And that has evolved in the last 20+ years to what the city has done is we help them get their stuff from wherever it is over the non-Christmas season, get it to the park, get it up. We do not do repairs,
Right.
make the.
I'm sure
display.
there'd
I
be some
just-
kind of liability.
I just wanna be clear that the city has never, I mean, we plug it in, we'll,
Sure.
But we don't work on the displays. And that's quite frankly what I think just quite frankly, you can count on one hand, maybe two hands, the number of organizations, whether they be private business or, there's some associations.
Right.
That handle that on their independently, like the rest of it just has fallen to the Holiday in the Park.
Well, I mean, it doesn't
to-
even have to be something we do as the city.
No,
I'm sure
I just
Holiday in the
wanna
Park-
be clear, the issue is not, I mean, they're super heavy, they're
Right.
welded frames, I mean, but we can handle that, we always have, or have for many, many years, but the problem is when the lights don't work, that's not because the city didn't do what we were supposed to do, that's
Right.
because we went and collected a light display that for whatever reason didn't work. I will tell you, just briefly, if you recall back to the original plans with regards to the pavilion, that section between the cabin and the new building has got in-ground electric utilities all throughout. So that's not the size of the Gallipolis, but there is way better infrastructure there than any time in the history of that park, in the ground, so.
I mean, just talking about the volunteers, I think if somebody could just get a handful of volunteers to go around periodically and check things and maintain, I mean, I'm sure he'd be part of that if.
I know the guy who's president of that, his name's Lee Johnson. I'm sorry to interrupt, but he's been begging for a way to get help from the city.
When Holiday in the Park was originally started, my best friend was also the planning director for the city of Parkersburg. They had 50 volunteers. They worked all year round on this. It wasn't just the 2 months before Christmas. I mean, they busted their butt to get the sponsors. They made sure all the lights were lit. Well, what happened was, they got older. They passed away, and then the volunteers just,
It's just like anything,
Anything.
technology's changed.
You've got to
We
stay on
we
top
got
of it.
20,
And the
30-year-old
city has
displays.
contributed to Holiday in the Park on more than one occasion since I've been mayor.
yes.
Like 8 or 10,000 once, I mean, there's been some money go their way for said maintenance.
Well, this is not something that if I would foresee it, it's nothing gonna happen, it's not gonna be done this year, I'm talking, 4 or 5 years to
We got a
keep
process.
building this thing up.
Right.
But I'd like to see it, let's really build something nice for the city park, cause that building, I drove through the park the other night for the first time, I don't know, for a month or so and whatever. The building's really taking shape, it looks good, it looks beautiful, it really does, and, I just like to see that.
I'd rather do away
Showcase.
with Holiday in the Park instead of having it like it is because it's atrocious.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna do something, do it first
Do it,
class.
do it right.
That's gonna be totally.
And it makes us
if we
look
go-
bad,
yeah.
it makes our city look bad. I just think we either do it and we do it right.
Well, we do it as a, maybe incorrect term, but, buy-in from the public with donations
Mhm.
and, use the space of the park. It could be a first-class.
But if you know deep pocket one, holler at me.
I know, but they are here.
They're here.
They are here.
We just gotta get them out, where can we
And when
go?
you talk about improving our city, they're the first to jump in.
Sponsors, just tell them there's a contest. There, that's all you need to do.
There you go. Good deal.
That's all it takes. For me, anyway.
Anything else, Mr. McCready?
Yep, I think that's
Thank you, sir.
about it.
Who else wants to go? Anybody?
I have a few.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Tuck.
So I guess one of the things I was thinking is that it would be helpful to have, regular reports from the different, thank you so much for putting these things in order. Like, it was the first year that I've seen that we said, oh, what about public safety? What about, cause usually it's just bring whatever you think about, and this was really helpful to think about, so I appreciate it. And then, so when you divide it into these things, I thought, oh gosh, it'd be really good to have, like with Adam, he does a great job, that I've had several people say, do we have a grid? Do we have the city sectioned off, and is there a plan to do this section, and then this section, and that section? So, I don't know how to answer that, cause I don't know, we haven't met. But anyway, so part of it would be, like, just to do a survey of the most severe flooding and establish a timeline budget for repairs. I think that could be really helpful. Like, I hear about Crown Floral, I hear about, not Staunton, but, Stevenson and 16th, I hear about severe flooding, but I don't know what the plan is for how it's expensive, so we almost have to pick out a priority. So I guess what I'm saying is like some kind of timeline and budget for priority would be helpful. That's not any particular thing, it's just an approach, really. Public safety, I've had a lot of people ask for body cams. Do the sidewalk repairs need more money? I've heard, that, some kind of rescue boat, for the fire department, would be helpful.
They have one.
Okay.
They have one.
Thank you. Street signage, some of the street signs we can't really read, they're so faded, you can't see them, you don't know what street you're on.
They've got new stuff down there now, there must be
It's just getting
100
to
of them
them.
already printed up. They're
That's
just
great,
getting
I'm
ready
just,
to
I'm
cut
just
'em up.
telling you what,
Yeah.
what my neighbors have said, can't read that sign.
They're working on that right now.
Right. I think we've been asked, for that, standard operating procedure for traffic fatalities. And then, money for the spay and neuter program, I think would help us. I think I don't know what our history has been with Humane Society or other agencies, but, I've had a lot of people saying, the city could help, do that spay and neuter program to keep the cat population down.
Have they ever applied for that?
I have no idea, I haven't.
They have to do
We got an
they have to
application
do
every
the
year.
I'm
parks
just-
just like
I'm
everyone
just-
else.
I'm
They got
just
an
throwing out,
application.
I'm just throwing out ideas, Dave.
They can apply for that and tell them that
Oh.
they can apply for that and whatever, and
Has
ask
to
for
be
it,
in by
just like
November
anybody
30th.
else. That's
November
right.
30th, we'll
Yeah.
tell them, okay, like I
Yeah.
said, I'm just passing my ideas out here. So the pump ramp had come up for skate park, but it might be great to have it at Southwood.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry, what was that?
The pump ramp,
Yeah,
That's being looked at.
okay. And I've heard, repaving the tennis courts, paddle boats, mini golf, disc course, better signage at the Johnson T. James. I've gotten so lost on those trails, but better signage there. Rock climbing walls, boulder climbing, just more festivals, outreach and things like that. Canvas and shading on the playgrounds. The recycling center is a big concern, what's gonna happen with that, the assets. The retaining wall on 13th Street has been an ongoing concern. Sumner School is another one. talked a little bit at different times, that whole development of the Seventh Street corridor. And I know there's talk here and there, but I think some kind of deliberate, planning would be really great. with
That's
that.
coming up in URA.
Thank you.
I think we made good
I didn't know,
progress
I
on
mean,
that.
I'm just,
We did.
I'm glad to hear it.
We're continuing it, Chris.
Great. I wish, like, in 2022, I think we did a comprehensive study of the housing program, but we've never developed a plan for how we're gonna increase the number of housing. And I would like to see something like that.
That's coming up in URA.
Thank you. And then, we've talked about, putting, nut trees or fruit trees on the empty city lots that can't be developed. We talked about a zip line, and they were talking about across the river from Fort Borman. And then developing,
That'd be awesome.
That ain't happening.
It's not
But
gonna
wouldn't it be
happen.
fun?
But it would-
Warm into the roof
That
of
is
this
not
building.
happening.
Take off Fort Borman, but there'll be some wrecks on the Fort
Oh
lane.
my
So
God.
you can fly right down over.
There's no way.
Well, some of these ideas may not be the greatest, but people mentioned it to me,
I
so
would
I
do
said
it
I would do it. Developing the Depot
I'd do
Street
them all.
areas, have a lot of specific areas in the stormwater, but, I can give those to you, Dave, I mean, you're on the stormwater committee. But just a systematic, inspection, repair, replacement kind of thing. Minimum wage was on our list, I think that's it. Those are the things that the people in my district have asked for.
Thank you, Ms. Tuck.
Can I drop back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ask the mayor one question. On the, I was looking at where we dredged the pond out, or the lake,
Hasn't been dredged yet.
well, are they gonna dismantle that center part, are they gonna keep that there, that's all
It's coming out.
It's all coming out.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
I think what Adam would like to do, and it all come down to the budget, he would like to, so we've been using three, I don't know how big those fountains are, 36 inches probably.
Right.
I think he would, what would be his preference would be to purchase a big fountain that works the same way. I call them floaters, some people call them moored
Yeah.
fountains, where you
Yeah.
you float it out there, and then it's kind of anchored to the bottom, and the way that fountain worked originally, the utilities are out there. There's a box that looks like concrete, it's actually stainless.
That's what you do.
And that was where the pumps and things were for the original fountain, so we always had to power up
Yeah.
out there in the middle.
Okay.
Part of his design, I know, is to put utilities on the shore, which is what they did at Southwood.
Right.
There's a little, kind of looks like a fake rock,
Mhm.
kinda sorta, and that's where you plug in. So his plan, is to remove all that stuff out there, and then if we, now, those fountains, the little ones they're like $1,200-1,500, the big one's gonna be
Yeah, I understand.
10, they're,
Yeah, you're up to 20.
but you can put lights on them, or get them with lights on them,
Absolutely.
Are they're keeping the aerators in place, aren't they?
the aerators will go back in.
Yeah.
But everything will be utility wise from the shore, as opposed to the way it's been. You have to kind of float out there in a boat, place the fountain, and then power it, plug it in out in the middle there, so.
The way it is, you can just go out and pair chest sweeps.
Well,
It's sink.
and honestly, that's generally how they would do it for the most part, I think, I'll be honest with you. I've seen it done one time, and I think it was a combination of, they just got out of the job boat.
Do you know whether
Or the
one in
Sunday
South
one.
Florida's for 220 or 110, you got any idea?
I don't, I apologize for that, but I know that they redid the utilities when they were there, and they'll do the same things. Cause the city park also, it don't need a well pump,
Mhm.
so, it'll be substantial. There's a vault out there if you go, that's what they plan
Okay.
on using, there's a big brown metal. It's, towards the tank,
Mhm.
about halfway up into the grass there.
Okay.
Andrew, the only
Yes,
thing,
okay.
thing I wanted to add is public forum. Everybody in District 4 is asking for that to return, and council forum for the same reasons that Chris said. A lot of times, people ask us to bring things forward and we really can't, so. That's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Tuck. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
Okay, well, a lot of people said what I want. I would like to see public forum come back. I would love the idea of $15 an hour minimum. Everybody should have at least that. In the parks, I really like the idea for the new holiday in the park, and I would really like to help on that with him. And, that's just about it. Everybody talked about everything I wanted.
Anything else, sir?
Yeah, that's about
Thank
it.
you very much.
Yeah, oh, dash cams, I would like dash cams, sorry about that.
Dasher body or
Yeah,
one or the other.
well, dash cams
Start
for
out
sure,
with
yeah,
something.
on the cruisers.
School?
Mr. Burkowski,
Yes.
you haven't said what
Oh,
you.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, where do I start, where do I leave off? You guys took up 50 minutes, I'm gonna take up the next hour and 15.
You can get 49.
I don't have to go to work tomorrow, so I got time.
That's right, okay, well,
I do that.
no, I mean, just some simplistic things I like, and everybody don't faint when I say this, I'd like to improve the audio visual, in the,
Yes.
council chambers, whether it's just simplistic microphones, I'm tired of getting on the microphone. And then, possibly have something, state of the art where it's not expensive, but just be able to, with a click of a mouse, put the, view of the speaker, or, so they just have one stationary camera, but, that might be something down the road we can discuss, but I'd like to at least, right off the bat, improve the, microphones that we speak into. Business development's always an important topic, but there are a lot of economic factors above and beyond, our control that contribute to the ability to increase business or, do improved developments, but I'd like to see us take as a city, as a community, as a council, focus a little bit more on business development, whether it's define a role or partner with more closely with an outside organization, but I think all those are important. Going on to that next topic, kind of a development type of thing with the new rec center coming on board, I think it would, in my opinion, I think it'd be important to have some type of an events coordinator that could handle Bicentennial Point Park Rec Center to do and promote and to attract people to use those facilities. So I think those are some things that I think would be important. These are nothing budget-wise. Well, it is, but it's not gonna, you're not gonna satisfy this. It's almost like have people take ownership or adopt a street type of thing, but I think I'd love to get uniform. I'm a person that's attention to detail, a little bit goes a long way, but two things. Work to get uniform street signs, probably not my lifetime, but come up with a plan to tackle and get, we see a concrete pillar that doesn't have a street sign, and we have some of the street signs, and some of them are well marked, but some of them are the black ones, and then some of them are the smaller green lettering, and some of them you can't see, and we've done a good job to use lettering that's gonna last, but somehow, some way, and I have some ideas, I've looked online, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a name the neighborhood contest, so we have 9 districts, as I drive through some other parts of the country, well-defined area that you live in, or part of the city, so, I drive through District 9 and it's called whatever, so, I don't know if everybody wants to, address that, but I'd love to see us take part in some type of name the neighborhood, and everybody take a little bit of pride and ownership in the area that they live in, and I think that could go a long way to, clean up the, image, or even just clean up the, area that we live in. Let's see here, what else do we talk about? Obviously housing's important, it's amazing, we have a declining
declining population. Obviously, I say it's flat because over 50 years, if you look at it, it goes from where we're at today up to mid-40s and back to where we're at. So, but not a lot of new development. So, and I know there's people that have already done it, and I'd love to see some more. I say affordable housing, but new development for people, you know. And so that's always important. Obviously, I think, for me personally, I think the streets are probably the #1 priority. If you had to line something up and say, what do you think is the most important thing for you, Andrew, moving forward into this budget? It's my understanding that, you know, we had that one-time windfall from the bridge that allowed us to do and get on a pretty good pace for paving. And I'm not sure that we have the revenue moving forward in time to keep up that pace. And I'm sure Mayor and Adam and those folks are doing a good job of crunching those numbers. But for me personally, I think the paving is, and the paving program that our city engineers implemented is critical. So let's see here, what else do I have listed out here? I don't know, I think that's probably just a few of the things that I think are important. And I'm just listening, I hear, you know, wages discussed. You know, Parks and Rec's always important. How much can we spend and not spend? I think with the rec center coming on board and utilizing that to with an events coordinator type of area, I think it'd really be a improvement in you know, Parks and Rec. So that would be where I would look at as something to do. But just from what I hear from you all, you know, stormwater obviously always a critical component, but you know, I think something like, I don't know, Mayor, is it $800 million project for stormwater or something like that?
It's probably $500 million with a B by now.
Okay, so.
And just be mindful, and I'm in no way supportive of this, but many communities have a stormwater funding stream. We do not. We fund it through the general fund. But there are a lot of, you hear, it gets all kinds of ugly names. Some people call it the rain tax, but the reality of it is you know, it's one of the most expensive propositions out there, particularly when you have to get in the ground, which is why I think we've spent as much money as we have on lining, because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than
Still expensive.
than digging it up. But anyway.
And this isn't necessarily a city project, but I've always liked go to up and coming cities or growing populations, and you go through downtown. They always have like nice little alleyways, and I don't know what alley would be. I went and looked behind.
The one behind Jimmy John's.
The one behind Jimmy John's. But I looked over the one behind the Smoot Theater because somebody told me that, and where the Mid-Ohio Valley Transit Authority, you know, it need cleaned up a little bit, but like, you know, some type of arts or something that just gives you an eclectic feel, that you could sit down, park benches, maybe have a food vendor or something that could just park there on beautiful summer days and just have people gather. So like I said, I don't think there's any necessarily money needs to be allocated from the city, but just for Zach, you know, Zach's area, and with, you know, growing the momentum we have with downtown and businesses coming in there, I think that'd be something cool to see come to fruition. And I don't know, other than that, that's probably about all I really have.
Can I have a follow-up?
Yeah, you got, anybody can jump in.
Now we're talking about these streets, the brick streets in Juliana, I mean, it'll about take out your car. So, I don't know what the solution
I don't
is.
know if we can get a grant or what for that.
About half the people I talked to in Juliana said, don't you dare pave my brick streets, this is why I live here, this and that. And then the other half says, pave them.
Let me stop you. I gave your predecessor a potential compromise for the brick streets. And it basically, and I'm sure we still have it, and it basically keep the intersections brick, 46, whatever. But be mindful, this is a multi-year project. I got it, you can look that's what we've spent on our street program. To rehab those, that's about a third of what it would cost to re-brick, even to use this. So my point is, that is not something that gets done in I will look for that, you take it to your contemporaries that live up there. It was thrown back at me, absolutely not, but it would be, no, to me, that's a
I think it's a good compromise.
compromise,
actually.
but it's not something that, it would be multi-phased over, quite frankly, several years. Because it's hugely, hugely expensive, because it's major labor.
The only other thing I've heard in the Juliana meetings that someone proposed is that in some cities there is a brick street tax, or levy, whatever you wanna call it. If you happen to live on a brick street, you have to pay for contribution. And I don't know how the general public would feel about that, but that particular Juliana meeting, it didn't seem very popular.
We have that statute now, but it requires an act of council, but it's probably from the 50s. For example, if we were to go out and pay, Fairview Avenue, council could by, I'm not sure if it's ordinance or resolution, but it requires act of council and do an assessment on every adjoining property owner. So that exists statutorily. I assure you, it would, number one, it would be hugely unpopular. Number two, how collectible is it?
Right.
I mean, there are people today, this week, well, last week, that don't pay their police, fire, and trash fees, so but that exists, that authority rests with this body currently. Same with sidewalks again.
Yeah.
It was,
I'm not endorsing that, I was just throwing out what someone
I
said.
think you are, I'm gonna run with it.
That's what I've been
I
I'll
just
have
wonder,
Brian
as a
Green.
historical district, what, can you guys apply for grants?
Possibly.
I mean,
As a historical district, you guys would have to do that, not the city. If I'm not
I mean,
mistaken.
those streets are dedicated, you just, I mean, I'm supportive, I think that would, and quite frankly, if we started it 9 years ago, we'd probably be done with it by now, but to replace those streets as 100% brick, I mean, we need straight gold.
Yeah.
Or.
Oil, liquid gold.
Yeah, I mean, it's hugely expensive when you look at our street budget.
Go ahead, Ms. Cool.
Roger?
Oh, sorry.
I wanna go back to city council chambers. Done in 1978, that's when the council chambers was done. I know that I have not only heard from this council, but previous councils and previous councils before that this is not getting it.
No.
We cannot see from one end
I can't see the ones
of
that are in.
the,
I can't see you.
of the
You gotta go.
table to the other end of the table. And I think that if we could get it done this year,
Maybe we don't look at you.
I have to look at you, you're right next to me. But if we can get that, I'm just teasing Roger.
I was too.
If we could get the council bench done and the audio in that area, if we could get new microphones in, I think it's speakers too, I really do, I think it's the whole audio thing. If we could get that in our budget this year, that right there would be a godsend to get that right there taken care of.
Yes.
I at one time had talked to the mayor, I think it's been about 8 years ago, about redoing council chambers because it was done and I got a price on replacing the chairs, I think, orange, green, so it was a little bit pricey for our budget back then. Maybe it's something else that we could look at. It was actually reupholstering or replacing the chairs. I think council chambers needs to be redone for couple reasons, which we have discussed already, not in this meeting, but we have discussed. But I think that the audio and the way that the bench is set up can't see. And and the mics are terrible, so you can't hear at this end.
Well, and then it's the other thing is you turn your head to look, and then you
Yeah.
get out of the way of the mic, but, yeah, I
Well, he
mean, I
broke
don't wanna
mine.
spend gobs of money, but if there's any way to do it efficiently and inexpensively to make it more of a horseshoe, that would be great, but I don't know if I'll be around to ever see that or not.
I don't know, that's something we need, or we could look into it, we can't afford it, we can't afford it. But, you know, I think that something definitely needs to be done.
As a new councilman, that's the number one problem I have. Why we're setting it straight across, can't see the other end. Somebody is making a motion, I cannot see the other end.
Right.
And I don't think it's like, you know, the audio video, it's not like it's a vanity project. People try to watch this, people like my 84-year-old neighbor, he can't come down to the meetings. He cannot hear online. It's just
You
not
can't hear it.
sufficient.
Not
The
that-
AV system's
Sometimes I
not
don't care that you
sufficient.
can't hear it, but you know,
Yeah.
you can't, when we can't hear, they can't hear. So, just throwing that out.
We have a really, really good carpenters union all around here. They're all the time looking for projects to do.
People
Maybe those
are
guys-
volunteer for that stuff.
Right. These
Like
guys that
tech
come in there and
center.
then, you know, I think, you know,
Good all.
you ever met the carpenter BA, Mayor?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this guy might. take
Tom
look at
knows a
that.
lot of people.
Say they would help us out.
It's Bayhaw, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I played football against him and wrestled him in high
Yeah.
school.
What does Roger have to say? I'm eager.
Mr. Brown, would you like to add anything?
Just two things, I know when we put the cameras up on the stoplights, we wasn't allowed to give tickets, that was one of the reasons why they did it, they said it's invasion. So they use the cameras now just for wrecks.
Right.
Now, I don't know if they even still work, I'm sure they do, but that was one of the things we ran into there. The other thing is, whatever we do, I hope we never get into another position like we did on the city park, where a guy gives $250,000 and the city pays $750,000. It's not, to me, that's taxpayers' money, but somebody wants to give us $250,000, let them go half on it. And the third thing I'd like to see in council, as far as anything else, you gotta put a boundary up. I'm tired of that guy walking around, and he stood right there in front of me for about 30 seconds. That camera's gonna hit the wall, cause I'm gonna take his phone, and it's gonna hit the wall. Now, I've had enough of him already.
I agree.
So he's gotta stay back, or throw him out. I don't care.
Don't knock his phone out, don't do that.
That's what he means.
I really don't care.
What was the city park
this
thing? I
point-
didn't quite follow the
I
city.
think you're talking about the splash pad.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
I guess, and I'm not trying to, this is your guys' meeting, but it's after 7. So, a lot of good stuff. So if I may ask some questions of the group.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I mean, streets, you guys happy with the way we're doing streets? I mean, I made some notes here, and I think, Adam shared with you, you know, what he's been working towards for the last 7 years is shortened pavement cycles, extending the life of our streets in general. I mean, is that something that this council continues to support? Now, this is
Absolutely.
not just, it's not just about milling and paving.
You're talking about the coating that
I'm
they
talking
put on.
Yeah,
about the application of
the pink sand.
those things.
Yeah, when he puts the juice on the streets and.
He
The
uses
thing I
the,
broke.
Chris broke.
Doesn't really say.
I just wanna make sure that,
If it works as advertised, that's well worth it.
that's in there. I guess, just a couple of things, not to get too deep in the weeds, but, you know, raise your hand if you go to the free concerts at Point Park. All right, is that something that you think, because I will tell you, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, PKB, those almost didn't happen last year because they're financial losers. Would this council want me to build something into the budget to continue some downtown music or not? I'm not a huge fan of paying for parties. I'm all on board with the 250 celebration, but before we get into the budget hearings, you know, there's been some discussions about moving them from the point, bringing them down here at Bicentennial and partnering them with Meet Me on Market kind of stuff.
I
Is
think
that
that-
something, you're not allowed to vote on that because you own a downtown business, that could be a conflict. I'm just teasing.
I mean, I think
it's
utilizing
just-
Bicentennial, if that's going
It's
away.
just, I mean, I'm just telling, it's, they're not, you know, they're, those free concerts, who knows what I'm gonna say?
There's
It's
such
not
thing as a
free.
They're not
It's
free,
free. They're
not
somebody's
free.
paying for it, okay? I mean,
We're usually getting, business will sponsor one.
Well, they used to.
Well, last year it
we-
almost fell apart and someone
Right,
rescued.
yeah, so.
Could they not split, you know, you're talking about moving them into Bicentennial, could we not try that too, like do both and see if one works better than the other?
We're having a hard time as a community putting on one concert series, I'm not sure we need to, you talking about mixing them up? the
Yeah, same
location?
series,
Yeah,
just change the location to see which one works.
The only
better.
thing I hate about that.
It's nice by the river.
I don't disagree, but there's, what, 19 restaurants in downtown Parkersburg now?
Yeah.
You drive down there, you park in McCutcheon's lot, you go, if you wanna, you know, and I'm not a big,
Focusing it all.
I'm not a big, experience, I mean, to me, a meal is a meal. It's, but I've heard that if you want vibrancy, there's lots of good places to eat, but you gotta have something else, if that's the case, I mean, from what I read in the Main Street publications and things is, that thing is out of sight, out of mind, it's a destination, they're not selling people aren't buying, quite frankly, a lot of those people who bought season tickets and got a reserved chair, I mean, they're old, or gone. I mean, it's just a market, I mean, so that's, you know, just something to think about. The other piece of it is, you know, we talked, I think, like I said, you just talked about some good stuff, but what don't you want? You know, I mean, there's lots of things in here that cost money, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but, you know, to Mr. Brown's point, if we're gonna do $6,000 to $8,000 pay raises for, you know, 20% of our workforce, because revenues are pretty flat. So you need to tell me what you don't want. Do you want less money in discretionary? You know, there's a lot of things that we've funded that I believe are valuable, and I hope you do as well, because you voted for them last year, and some of you voted for them for 9 years. But my point is, you know, everything we talked about, you know, the capital stuff, and your capital plans, if you wanna stick around, I'll send them home with you, they're upstairs, on Pam's desk. But, you know, like, something like a pump track, that's not gonna happen in next fiscal year. Those are things, you know, we did the splash pad, to your point, the swimming pool at Southwood, this water slide. We have always paid for things over time, but I think, you know, when you look at the natural categories of our budget, public safety, stormwater, streets and stormwater, parks and rec, and then, you know, kinda health and hygiene. I mean, if you tell me what and you don't have to answer right now, but if you know, look through your budgets and see where you think, because these things, I mean, there's what we talked about today is, or what you guys brought up, number one, nothing's cheap anymore. I mean, it's just, there is no such thing as the government rate. We pay more for, you know,
Everything.
I mean, what are your thoughts on demolitions? You know, I've been mayor 9 years, we're probably pushing 700, if not close to 800 demolitions. You know, do you want the demo fund to be funded like it has been in the past? Do you want, you know, I'm all for planting trees, but, you know, that's, you know, we got a lot of vacant lots, you know, those are some of the things that, you know, have been priorities for a number of years. Are they still priorities? I mean, you know, I'm gonna give you a balanced budget, but, that being said, just think of it, cause, you know, we're getting up against it now, you know?
Tom, I put that $15 out there, like I said, I do not have the numbers. You and Eric run the numbers. You can tell us what we can do, because you run the numbers. I mean, I can sit down with Eric and you and go through it. It's not gonna do any good without them knowing about it.
Again, my question I pose is just more broad scopes. I mean, you know, there are things that have been priorities for a number of years. I mean, I think streets, that if we quit doing streets, we might as well just quit showing up.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna, I mean, I heard some things today that I think there's some value in, but I also heard some things that I'm like, well, you know, sounds wonderful, but that's what, you know, what don't you want? I mean, and that, I'm not trying to be flippant, but, because in the end, this is just a big balancing act. Everybody wants their street paved, everybody wants, you mentioned public art. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a city in West Virginia that's invested more in public art in the last 10 years than we have. With the flood wall murals and some of the other stuff around, I mean, that's substantial, so. But those are just a couple of things that I think, you guys need to think about. And, you know, with regards to wage and salary administration, we're not gonna fix it tonight, but what I would recommend is, you know, our compensation plan is 9 years old this year. I mean, you know, it's probably time to do it again. It's very noble work to say we're gonna make everybody, you know, our lowest paid people are gonna be making $15 an hour. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You've got all kinds of folks that will become immediately devalued at that. I mean, that's just all there is to it. And I think Mr. Brown was making a point there. You're gonna give everybody $6,000 pay raise. Now there's the model that says, well, what do you care what everybody else makes? Folks, we don't live in that world. That's just not the way this thing works. So, we're in better shape than we were 9 years ago on equipment, but we've got some very expensive stuff that is nearing the end of its life. Number one being the Great Hall. Now, the Great Hall doesn't get used as much as probably we'd like, but when we need it, it's a lifesaver.
The what? I didn't hear you.
The Great Hall.
Great Hall?
I think it's a 96 model. We just put $16,000 in the main cylinder, and we waited 6 months for it to come from China.
Hydraulics, something?
Yeah. So, I mean, those are just some things to think about, so.
Well, I'm really in favor of basics. I'm in favor of basic salary, basic infrastructure. I think, you know, we've done a lot of really good stuff. When the city building gets done, that's gonna be a center for lots of public activity. So I think we can, you know, use what we've got, build on that, but I'm willing to let go of a lot of the extras. If we basically invest in our people, our infrastructure and our equipment, that seems like, I mean, when you said that's the purpose of a city, I kinda went, yep, you know, to provide those basic services.
You have something else, Rob? Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Well, this is a long time ago, but I can tell you this. If you worked in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and you got a job and you're out of high school, there's a $2 head tax. Everybody paid it. And that went to the school. Didn't matter if you had any kids, didn't matter if you was married. You paid $2 head tax as a city ordinance. Everyone in the city of Hershey, Pennsylvania had to pay that $2 head tax. It's got, anything we do payroll or anything else we gotta pay for it.
Yeah, we have to have revenue to cover it. There
Yeah.
has to be continuous revenue.
There's no tree out there except your wallet, my wallet, and everybody else's wallet.
That's right.
That's right.
And so when we talk about raises, it's not coming out of our wallet,
Or you're gonna cut services.
one or the other.
Yeah, we can't cut
You gotta,
services.
wait a minute, I'll go get your stuff.
But
But,
we are not gonna have waste, we're not gonna have sanitation as in debt this year. That's gonna be real different. So we're gonna have a little bit of extra.
Yeah, but do you realize, yeah, we're not gonna have sanitation, maybe, okay? But you still have to, we still have the remainder of the year for sanitation. And,
Yeah, this is for next year.
Right.
well, yeah, there's a lot more involved in that, then that's not gonna cover the raises, I know that, you know?
You also have to look at it as an investment though. I mean,
Right,
part of the problem that we're having with sanitation is because of the pay. So do you proactively fix that before it spreads someplace else?
you know, whenever, I just wanna say this. When we gave sanitation their raise, everyone said, they only need $2 on the hour, they only need $2 on the hour, okay? Last year, we promised them $2 on the hour, and they got $2 on the hour. It still wasn't enough,
Current workers.
let's-
are
okay?
behind us.
So that's all I heard,
Yeah.
that's all I heard, that's
Well,
gonna take care of it.
I wasn't
There's-
saying that to pick at you.
I know
or
that, I
anything.
know that, but I'm
It's
just saying,
Before we have that problem
it's
elsewhere.
never enough.
Oh, no.
Okay, it's never enough. We've got to do what we can do with recurring revenue.
Right.
That's why when I proposed, said this, I said to the mayor, I have not ran the figures, I have not asked for the figures. But if this isn't feasible, we can just do half, that's fine with me, okay? Just to show that we're working towards a common goal.
What's minimum wage now in city park?
Minimum wage right
It's
now
35.
is what is it?
I think it's 875.
Yeah, $8.75.
You can't live on that.
You're not supposed to live on it.
Well,
I-
I'm
You know,
just-
you're
I'm
not
just
supposed to
trying
live on it. I hear that all the time, you know? When I was making $1 an hour, I made that work. I didn't live off of it, okay? I went out and found extra jobs to do, to supplement my income, because I was in high school, okay? You do what you've got to do. This is not meant to be, sure, I'd love for it to be a livable wage. All of us here would like for it to be a livable wage. That you go out, you have 3 or 4 kids, making $8.75 an hour. I mean, really?
Alright,
Let's end it.
we can continue, discussion, as far as that, at different, points throughout the year, but, what we need right now is a motion to rise and report since we're in a community.
I'd like
hall.
to make a motion to rise and report.
Got a
Second.
Dan, call the roll, please.
Mr. McCready,
Yes.
Ms. Cool,
Yes.
Mr. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Tuck,
Yes.
Mr. Huffman,
Yes.
Mr. Ruxford,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Borkowski.
Yes. I guess the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Or adjourn.
I think Tom ran up there to get.
Yeah, he went to go get some.
Well, that's why I
Capital
said
plan, I
that.
I know.
And I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know if we can do it or not.
I just want to, I didn't think.
Dave, I have something, an idea about holiday
Because I really
park.
support your idea, if it's feasible.
Yeah, if it's feasible.
I'm
And that's
Okay.
what I said.
Sharon
I don't
knows
know what the
about this.
numbers are.
Last
I
year,
don't either, I just think
we were hoping
it will be
to
helpful to see.
get
I'm
that
not real crazy
parade
about it
at
because
night.
they
Everywhere else.
Good. I watch the cables.
That's what it's.
Don't watch it yet.
I mean,
That's why they have a time limit.
And I think if the girl did
Get back to 3 minutes.
These aren't bound by
that
that.
was her last year, so this might be a good time to do it. I thought it might be a cool idea if you had the holiday parade that ended at the park. So all that traffic, it would just be cool, I don't know.
Excuse
what we
capturing
do
all
with
that?
that.
We'll see if I can read it.
Grandkids here,
Pass that down.
they wanna see the
I guess
parade
all that
and
don't
the parade and all the other stuff.
Well, thank you.
Because I almost did the parade one year, and I found out it wasn't nighttime, and I was like, how do I even operate in daytime? Christmas, you know?
Hey, I couldn't go on the driveway.
Zach, help me?
Did it snow
I
where you
expect
were?
a phone call from you tomorrow.
You're getting it.
If I do not receive
Listen, I won't
that phone
ever-
call from you, don't call me again,
I'm never standing up. Yeah.
because I'm still.
Get me down the way, she's not.
Ah.
You're gonna get her attention.
That's gonna be trouble.
Rob, I have a person who wants to meet you.
Okay.